Very good. All right. All parts of your body includes your face, young sir. Okay, if you look over on the driver's side of the train, you can see our telegraph office. Here you can send and receive telegraphs. It's kind of like a mixture of modern mail and telephone. Out on the passenger side of the train, that sandstone building is a replica of the Cedar City Tithing Office. This is where members of the LDS faith would bring 1/10 of their income to give to their church to redistribute to those who stood in need. That income could range from money to milk to eggs to things they grew on their farm. Here on the passenger side is the Manti Fort Grist Mill. Can anyone tell me what a mill was used for?
To make wheat.
It wasn't used to make wheat, but it was used to grind wheat into flour. Can anyone tell me what most mills were powered by? Not wheat. They were powered by water. And since most mills are powered by water, on this hill we have a settler's pond, and around that pond we have a mini train that runs on real train tracks. If you look out on the passenger side of the train, you can see our representation of the ship Brooklyn. Who knew that not all pioneers crossed the plains? Yeah, many pioneers actually sailed. They would board a ship on the east coast of the United States, sail around both North and South America, and come to land in San Francisco. That journey would actually take 6 months, as opposed to the 3 months that it took to cross the plains in a wagon or a handcart company. On the driver's side of the train, we're going to be going by our Native American village. Who here can show me with their hands how many Native American tribes there are in Utah? 5 is the correct answer. They are the Utes, the Paiutes, the Goshutes, the Navajo, and the Shoshone. There are actually 8 federally recognized tribes in Utah, but that's because there are multiple factions of the Utes, Paiutes, and Goshutes. So most people will just abbreviate it to 5. If you look out on the passenger side of the train past that scrub oak, you will be able to see the Mary Fielding Smith home. When she came to the Utah Territory with the Mormon pioneers, Mary Fielding Smith was given a plot of land in downtown Salt Lake City. She refused it, however, saying that she wished to raise her children in a more secluded area rather than in one so centrally located and densely populated. She eventually settled down in what is now known as Mill Creek, about a 15-minute drive today, but a 2-hour journey at that time. When we moved the home up to the park, we decided to put it in a more secluded area so as to honor Mary Fielding Smith's original wishes as pertaining to her home. How many of you guys out there want to see a lion today? Yeah, that would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Well, if you got really good eyes, you might be able to spot one. You want to know where? At the zoo across the street.
Wow!
Like I said, you have to have really good eyes to see it. If you look out on the driver's side of the train, you can see a white obelisk. That doesn't take good eyes to see. But this is the original This Is the Place monument. Dedicated in 1921, it stands where most historians agree Brigham Young looked out over the Salt Lake Valley and declared, "This is the right place." How many people do I have out there who want to be doctors when they grow up? All right, got a few. Well, if you look in front of us on the passenger side, that white brick building is the Deseret Hospital. Many women of the Utah Territory were sent back east to learn the trade of medicine so that they could come back and treat other sick women and children. Today, the hospital functions as home to the Utah Quilt Guild Museum, where you can view many pioneer-style quilts, including one made of squirrel skin, and you can also view lace demonstrations and participate in crafts throughout the day. Do I have any BYU fans out there? I know I'm the one.
Utah Utes!
Well, over here on the passenger side, this red brick building is Smoot Hall. Smoot Hall served as one of the original buildings for Brigham Young Academy, now known as Brigham Young University. Ours is a replica, as the original burned down many years ago, but the foundations of the original can still be found on the BYU campus in Provo. Over there on the driver's side, we're going by our Eagle Gate. If you can wave on. Thank you, Lindsay.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you all. That's my friend Lindsay, who's being our gatekeeper today, and apparently she wants to broadcast my birthday long and loud. If you look out on the driver's side of the train, you can see This Is the Place monument. It was dedicated in 1947, 100 years after the Mormon pioneers originally came to the Salt Lake Valley. Up top are depicted Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, and Wilford Woodruff. However, this monument pays tribute not just to the Mormon pioneers, but to those who came before them as well. On the monument today, there are more than 60 faces depicted. Who here likes apples? All right, quite a few. Over there on the passenger side of the train is our apple orchard. This is representative of Brigham Young's apple orchard, which was said to produce apples that weighed up to 1 pound. How'd you like a 1 pound apple?
Me.
I love it. Unfortunately, our orchard here at the park doesn't produce apples that size. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Yes, there are horses over there. We're going to be talking a little bit about them later. You don't get to ride them right now. If you come back another day, you can. If you come back another day, you can ride those horses, and I'll talk about that a bit later. If you look on the driver's side of the train, you can see the Mormon Battalion Monument. The Mormon Battalion actually holds the record for longest military march in United States history at over 2,000 miles. So I'm guessing you all like horses, right?
Yeah.
Well, how'd you like to get paid to ride a horse?
Me.
If you look on the driver's side of the train, you can see the Pony Express Monument. The Pony Express started in 1860 as a way of delivering mail across the country. Riders of the Pony Express, the oldest one on record was 44 years old, and the youngest one wasn't much older than anyone here. He was only 11 years old.
Dang.
Riders were paid $100 a month for their services, but the Pony Express only lasted for 18 months due to the completion of the telegraph across the country. Looks like we got some service volunteers up here, Dave. If you look out on the passenger side of the train, that barn out there is the Brigham Young barn. Here you can make an appointment and ride one of those horses over there. You can ride those horses if you make an appointment at the Brigham Young barns. That costs extra though because it's an independent owner of the horses and not the park that does that. Everyone see that pink house ahead of us? How'd you like to try and live there?
Me.
It's a pretty nice house. That's the Brigham Young Forest Farmhouse. This was the first building brought up to This Is the Place Heritage Park. It's an original home from the 1800s. Anyone want to try and guess how they made it that lovely pink color? Because it was not with paint. Any guesses?
Marker.
Whoa, spray paint was even less available than regular paint.
Berries.
Not berries. Not clay, but pretty close. They actually ground up sandstone and mixed it in with the mortar. If you look out on the driver's side of the train, you can see our garden place. This is a rental building that we rent out for large gatherings like family reunions or wedding receptions. It's ideal for such large gatherings as it can hold up to 300 people inside. In front of the garden place is our Walk of Faith, which is a series of mini monuments commemorating the founding faiths of Utah, including the Catholic, Jewish, Episcopalian, and Protestant faiths, among a few others. As we're leaving the Forest Farmhouse, it's interesting to note that though he may have owned the home, Brigham Young never actually lived there. Instead, he used the home primarily for social gatherings such as dances. Also interesting to note is that the farmhouse was an experimental one. So when the Mormon pioneers came here, not much grew besides grasses, so Brigham Young had pioneers bring seeds with them from their homelands. And due to the experimental farming they did here in Utah, we have the same kind of alfalfa that grows in Switzerland. All right, anyone want to do some state trivia?
Yeah.
Do you want easy or hard?
Easy.
All right, I'm hearing more easy than hard. I'll do a couple of hard for you, but let's go easy. Can anyone tell me what the state bird is? The eagle is the national bird, not the state bird. Red jacket. Okay, no answer. Not the hawk.
California seagull.
California seagull is correct. All right. Okay, I'm going to give you the hard one right now. Can anyone tell me what the two state snacks are? There are two state snacks. Can you tell me what they are? In the back, yell it really loud. I couldn't hear you and I couldn't. No, not peanuts. The state snacks are green Jell-O and vanilla ice cream. Utah eats more of these foods than anywhere else in the world. This cabin here on the passenger side of the train is the Mary Goebel Pay Cabin. When she came to the Utah Territory with the Mormon pioneers, Mary Goebel lost all 10 of her toes to frostbite. But she still managed to live a full life and raised 7 of her 13 children in that home. Any U of U fans out there? Okay, we got a few. This brown brick building is a replica of the Pack Home, which served as the original building for the University of Deseret, now known as the University of Utah. On the driver's side is the Heber C. Kimball home. This is also a replica, and the original had a 9-foot high rock wall surrounding it. Yep, over here on the driver's side of the train is the
Ice cream
Huntsman Hotel.
cones.
This is a replica of the original, which stands or stood, I'm not entirely sure which, in Fillmore. Did any of you know that Fillmore was the original capital of Utah? Yeah, there it was. That's actually only 1/3 the size of the original building. If you look on the driver's side, this white brick building is our ZCMI store. This is an original building brought up from Manti by being torn down brick by brick, brought up to the park and rebuilt where it stands today. All right. If you look on top of the cabinet shop on the driver's side, you can see a chair. Does anyone want to try and guess why there's a chair on top of the cabinet shop? In the back there, yell it loud. Yeah. I wasn't quite able to hear you. It was advertising.